Hi, welcome to video 7 in this series about how to achieve successful co-parenting for separated parents. This video focuses on investing in their relationship with their children. We've already talked about what parents can control when they separate, and actually when we bring it all down, the one thing they control in all circumstances is their relationship with their children. So this is about helping them support their children through a massive change as they separate. Consistency and routines. Children like consistency and routines. We all know that. They like doing the same things over and over and over on the same day in the same way. And it's about encouraging parents. But when everything else is changing, what can they keep the same? And the issue is, our brains predict the past, predict the future based on past experience. And so actually, if things are going to be different in the future, it's about demonstrating that over a period of times. It's about the parents showing up for their children. It's about being there. It's being emotionally available. And it's about having a boring co-parenting relationship. It's about reducing conflict with their ex-partner. It's about managing the process. It is a really tough area. I am not belittling how emotional and difficult this can be. However, if they want to protect their children and minimise the impact of the separation on their children, they really do need to learn how to manage themselves and how to make the right choices when it comes to co-parenting their children and actually creating this boring facts, truth and logic co-parenting relationship. It's also about recognising this is a marathon, not a sprint. Depending on the age of the child, they're going to be co-parenting with their ex-partner for many, many years to come. And actually remembering that and actually thinking about when your child is 18, when your child is 21, what sort of co-parenting relationship do you want them to have with you? And actually what stories are your children going to tell other people about your separation and your co-parenting? Which is why the self-care is so important. It really is so important, and the last video focuses on parent self-care, and it's giving them permission to really look after themselves, because if they look after themselves, they will then be able to have the capacity and the energy to support their children. And ironically, trying to encourage a healthy lifestyle is a key important part of this. I've run numerous courses now for separated parents, and I never forget a dad coming, and he'd actually given himself quite a makeover and started eating healthily, doing more exercise, having a proper sleep schedule, all the normal common sense stuff. And he said the difference it's made in how he feels about the separation is dramatic. And I mean, there's loads of information out there on healthy lifestyle. So this is what children need. They do need to be allowed to distance themselves from the conflict. This is about the parents making the choices. It is not the children. It's about predictable routines and consistent boundaries. Even though you're going through a really challenging time, it's really important to stick to previous boundaries. It's about actually, if your yes is yes and your no is no, then actually that needs to carry on. Boundaries provide children security. Children will push until they hit the boundary, but actually they need to hit it, because actually in a period of major change, they need that emotional security. It's also making sure they feel they belong in both homes, and that they stay connected with the extended family. They need to have a hope for the future, and they need to be children. They need to have fun, and they need to be really supported through this whole process. What they don't need is hear and see parents complaining and blaming each other. They don't need criticisms or negative comments about the other parent. They don't need adult information. They shouldn't be asked to choose one parent. They are certainly not there to pass messages between parents or to feel uncomfortable in one parent's home. And many parents can treat their children like a weapon, and that really isn't helpful on any level. What helps a child adjust depends on the level and intensity of the conflict, which is why this work is so important, because if the parents manage the process well, within a couple of years the children revert back to their original level of well-being. It's a massive change and upheaval for them, but if it's managed well, they will recover. They don't want what helps a child adjust also depends on the loss of contact. If they lose contact with one parent, that can be really hard. The level of support they get, some parents find they can find support in schools, other parents have friends, they might choose to give their child counselling. There are lots of different support out there that parents can find. Changes in finances can have a massive impact. Having a massive drop in income, having more stress over money, can have a big impact on how the child adjusts. Also, the speed and the amount of change. For example, if it happens very quickly, if they suddenly move out, if they move to a different area, if one of their parents finds a new partner, there can be an awful lot going on in a child's life, and at the same time they're moving school, and at the same time they're doing GCSEs, and at the same time, and it just depends. There is only so much a child can cope with, so actually it's just understanding what else is going on in their lives as well. And their personality, age, gender and stage of development can have a massive impact. More introverted children might struggle with certain things, and more extroverted children might be struggling in other ways. And this will also impact their behaviour and how they deal with it and how they are coping with it, and the impact that has on their day-to-day life. So what can we do to help children cope? Again, it's going back to circles of control. Investing in your relationship with your child is key to this. Emotion coaching is a brilliant tool, and that can be found on the website support at the end of this document. But actually using emotion coaching to manage your children's emotion is revolutionary. I found out when my girls were in their teenage years, and I could have done with it when they were significantly younger, and it's a brilliant tool. If you can't find any more, just Google it and there'll be lots of information there. One-to-one time. Particularly if you've got more than one child and they're all being affected, try and carve out some one-to-one time with each child. This is not easy, and it might be 10 minutes here or half an hour there, but it really is important just to touch base with them. And the other thing as well is keep that going as a regular thing. Just because you've been separated for a number of years doesn't mean your child is finding it easier at that moment in time. So it's about getting them to check in. Be positive and encouraging, build them up, the usual parenting, maintain clear rules is really key, and that's all about the boundaries and the discipline and the managing behaviour, but listening to them. Don't listen to respond, listen to listen. Really listen and empathise with what they're saying, and try to reflect back what they're trying to say to show that you understand. It is about good routines and consistency, and actually finding extra support if they do need that. But also have fun with the children, continue to have fun. Childhood is meant to be fun, and actually children do adapt. They're remarkably resilient, and if it's handled well, they will cope well. The key here as well is less stressed, anxious parent. One of the key things is actually, as a parent, getting them to manage their own stress, trying to get the support that they need. It's the self-care, because as the parent relaxes, the whole family relaxes. I think what many parents forget is that they set the emotional atmosphere in the family, and often they don't have to say things because children read it in their faces, they can just sense it. So actually the less stressed the parent, the happier the children. Also, it's highlighting the fact that you are a new family, and this goes back to the circles of control, but actually you are a new family, and it's opening up those conversations. You are moving to independence. It is about actually, yes, it would be in a dream world you could both parent in the same way, but the probability is you won't. So actually it's then recognizing that you are now living in an independent family, and actually each house will have different rules, but don't assume the children know. So it's opening up those conversations with the children and having family meetings, because it is unrealistic for you both to be on the same page. And at those family meetings, it's a talk about, actually, okay, how are we going to live in this house? What bedtime? What are the ground rules? What are the fun things? And it's just opening up the conversations with the children, because don't assume that they know because you haven't told them. So it's having open conversations, and one way of having family meetings is passing a cushion around. So when somebody has the cushion, nobody else speaks, because often listening to each other is equally important as talking. This is a brilliant website to get more support and help parents help their children cope. This is brilliant, so go and have a look at it. And all the other support is on this website, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video when we'll be talking about handovers and transitions. Thank you.